Shut up and sit down.
Hi all, Robotnik here, and now that the TF2 Meet Your Match update is out, I wanted to give my opinions on the topic, because there's definitely not a lot of that going around, am I right? So anyway, for those of you watching this and have been living under a rock for the past month and a half, or have absolutely no idea about anything TF2 related, Valve has released one of the biggest updates to the game since, well, probably the free-to-play update. This update is known as Meet Your Match, which finally pushed the competitive mode out of beta, and the TF2 community's response to it has been mixed at best and downright hatefully negative at worst. Now I'm going to dive into some likes and dislikes, as well as a wish list of changes, but I want to preface this with one thing. I actually like the update. I've spent the last month and a half playing the game, paying close attention to the changes, and listening to other YouTubers tear it to pieces, and, well, now I'm doing the same thing. Shut up. So let's start off with the stuff I dislike. First and foremost is the community's reaction and just general negativity, which I've noticed is kind of leaching into the game. Whilst this isn't really a gameplay point, it is an important one because, well, the community makes TF2 just as much as TF2 makes the community. So we, the community, have spent 8 or 9 months complaining about how TF2 never seems to get any love from Valve. The lucky few that managed to get a competitive beta pass spend 4 months complaining about the bugs in beta. And then we spend 2 months worrying about how Overwatch is going to kill TF2 and, gosh darn it, if Valve don't pull out the stick, TF2 is gonna die. So then, the update drops, and it's a fairly big one. Redesigning the home screen, introducing competitive mode, and introducing the Heavy vs Pyro competition to see which class will get new weapons. 3 fairly massive updates, as well as plenty of balance changes and long-standing bugs fixed all at once. So of course people are upset, your cheese has been moved, and I get that, but let's not forget that this is a game, made popular and fun, because people just like you also want to have a good time. So if you think this update is going to be the TF2 killer, and you're upset by that, don't let that negativity leach into how you treat other people in the community, because we're all in this together. Secondly, we have the bugs, and let's be honest, this one has been a fairly easy target to take a swing at for a lot of people. Whilst I kinda expected some teething issues when the update dropped, there's been a few major bugs that have come about as part of the update that have yet to be addressed. But the one that's probably on the forefront of most people's mind is the matchmaking wait times. Now, coming from a guy who, cut his teeth on first-person shooters like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, I was late to the FPS genre. Queuing never really fazed me too much, but the wait times, especially for competitive, have been pretty long, especially when we consider how quick it used to be joining games from the server browser or from quick play. They have gotten immensely better since the team at Valve have patched them a bit, but there's still plenty of time spent waiting. Another point that has irked a lot of people, but isn't really a bug per se, is the loss of any and all experience points when someone leaves a competitive match, with very minor penalties for the leaver for doing so. I haven't played much competitive, but considering that the games I have played of competitive, each one of them has had this happen, and I'm still yet to bump from 0 XP, and that's kind of annoying. There should be stiffer penalties for repeat disconnectors, as well as some percentage of the XP awarded to the rest of the team after a disconnect anyway. It's just no fun to play a 20-30 minute long game, play well, both teams are having a great time, and just have that salty sniper who you've dominated rage quit and leave the entire server without any reward for the actual gameplay played. Now, on to some of the stuff that I do like about the patch. Valve giving us updates on their progress. Whilst again, it's not really gameplay related, it is great to hear that they are aware of some of the problems and are fixing it. On July 22nd, they released a blog post detailing some of the fixes that they've got underway. And they've already fixed 2 of my major complaints, which was the inability to select or deselect particular maps for matchmaking, as well as re-adding the ability to vote kick griefers, idols, and hackers. They have also, as previously mentioned, radically improved the wait times in matchmaking, although it is still a bit long, and fixed some other long-standing bugs, such as the engineer's missing crotch hitbox. Yeah, that was a thing for a very long time. Check the description, I'll throw a link to a video of Mr. Paladin covering that particular bug. If Valve keeps up this level of transparency throughout the year, I think they'll find a much more supportive community willing to get behind them and support this game well into its double digits. TF2 is rapidly approaching 10 years old, and I think a lot of people are forgetting that. I can also get behind most of the balance changes. I mean, Spy getting a speed boost, matching the medic so they can effectively chase them down, teleporters now only costing 50 scrap. That makes the engineer's ability to quickly set up teleporters so much easier, especially on capture point maps where the spawn changes with each capture. And the medic now matches the speed of its heal target. It's also nice to see a buff for some of the lesser used weapons like the Enforcer and the Eureka effect, which after the previous patches had been, well, let's be honest, 100% useless for the Spy and Engineer respectively. However, I have had some issues working out exactly what damage resistances the Enforcer ignores, as I've only really seen the effect on the Vaccinator's bullet resist, but I'm sure someone will put a guide on this at some point. Now, every balance patch is not without its issues, but I do feel that this one in particular has fundamentally shaken up some classes for the better. There will absolutely be more balance patches moving forward. Balance is an ongoing battle, and regular changes serve to keep the metagame fresh, and not devolve into standardized, required loadouts for classes. There is, and should be, always more than one way to skin a cat. And finally, the addition of ranks and laddering in general. I like the idea of being matched with people about my skill level. It forces me to play better, and as a result, I have a more interesting game and might actually learn a thing or two. It's a little disappointing that casual seems not take rank into account, and thus it's still a bit of a crapshoot, but I'm hoping this changes, which brings me to my third part of this video. My wishlist. Dear Valve, please add functionality to allow us to access loadouts and the backpack whilst queuing for matches. Or even simply allow us to queue for games and go back to the main menu so that we can backpack, shop, adjust settings, and so on. Having something to do whilst queuing, I reckon, will tamper down a lot of the frustrations of staring at the queue screen. There's only so many times we can click that little badge icon. For me, a lot of the times when playing Team Fortress, I'll make a temporary change to one of my favourite loadouts, such as swap out the knife for a Spicicle or something, or, the Jag for the standard wrench. Then I'll forget to change it back, and I'll have to do it in the middle of another match. So Valve, if you're looking for ways to mitigate the load times, give it some thought. Oh, who am I kidding? No one watches my channel anyway. Secondly, we should have an option to stay in the current server and vote to select the next map, or vote to continue the same map. Imagine this. You're having yourself a good game, the server is talkative and fun, people are taunting, dropping learning faces, and then the round ends and you're left staring at the big disconnect button and you've got to queue up all over again. That isn't fun, and it doesn't promote friendly rivalries or even new friendships. Some of my Steam friends started off as opponents or teammates. We played many rounds together and got some gentle ribbing in the meantime. So please Valve, make servers great again. Finally, competitive, ranked 12v12. Don't get me wrong, I've played some 6s and I don't mind 6s, but at the same time, I want to be able to ladder in 12v12, which is what I like. I like the chaos, and I'd like to play against people my skill level. Sure, keep a rank separate from my 6s rank, but at least giving us the option to do so would be great. Anyway guys, that's just my likes, dislikes and wishes for the Meet Your Match update. I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a comment or like if you agree, or dislike if you disagree. Also, in regards to Heavy vs Pyro, I'm Team Heavy. I really don't know what to expect, but I'm really looking forward to seeing some love for the class, which is arguably the face of TF2. And just really quick, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Paladin, my favourite TF2 YouTuber who has decided to hang up his spy suit for the last time. Thanks for all the great fun, informative videos and dad jokes. You've helped me appreciate the game and improved my spy work to the point where it's now my best and favourite class to play. So have fun, keep gaming, and if I may borrow a line of yours, I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavours.